Hello, folks. This is Tom Martin. This is my lottery strategy game, Decoding the Powerball guessing game. I'm picking my numbers for the drawing on November 2nd, 2019. If you'd like to get my game, Decoding the Powerball, then please email me at decodingpowerball@gmail.com. Thank you, and please subscribe. Okay, so the object of my game is for you to correctly eliminate groups of numbers. There are 69 white ball numbers in the Powerball lottery. Only 5 numbers can come up as winners, so that means 64 numbers can't come up at all. So for me, I think it should be easier to pick the numbers that won't be coming up than the 5 that actually do. So to help me do that, I'm going to turn to the 5 strategies of my game. So strategies 1 and 2, the game card color code, and the 50-50 picks. Okay, so if you've never seen my videos before, why I make them is to show you on how to use my game. Okay, so what you're looking at here is what I call the game card. This is a format that I came up with that represents the 69 white ball numbers in the Powerball lottery. I really don't have anything for the Powerball itself. My goal is to get all 5 white balls correct and win the $2 million prize at the Power Play option. Okay, so first things first is I'm going to go to the Powerball homepage. And the 5 white winning numbers that just came up were the 19, 22, 52, 56, and 67. Again, I really don't care about the red ball. Okay, so what I do is I take those 5 white winning numbers and I put it at the top of this list. And now I'm going to find out what colors they were. Okay, so the 19 was green, the 22 was green, the 52 was blue, the 56 was blue, and the 67 was orange. Okay, so I'm going to color these in. So again, the 19 and 22 were green. The 52 and 56 were blue. And the 67 was orange. Okay, so now I'm going to count how many colors I have. So I got 2 green, 2 blue, and an orange for 3 colors total. So up here, I'm going to make this 384 color code drawings I kept track of so far. And now a 3-color combination has now come up 201 times. Okay, so if you divide 201 into 384, you're going to see that a 3-color combination comes up more than half the time. Okay, and to me that's huge because long term, if I just keep on picking a 3-color combination, I know statistically I'm going to be correct more than half the time. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to make a new game card. So I'm going to get rid of all these colors and start from scratch. Okay, so my color code is right here. Here's the red numbers, the orange, the green, the blue, and whatever's left over is purple. So basically what I did is I took the 69 white ball numbers, I divided it by 5 colors, and that's 1 color for each of the 5 white winning Powerball numbers, and that equals 13.8. So my goal is to get as close to as 13 or 14 numbers per color as possible, or a good representation of each color. Okay, so again, I'm going to start in with the red numbers. So I'll start with the 19. Now the red numbers are the last 3 drawings of numbers, and the reason why that is because this will give me a maximum of 15 numbers. Okay, so again, I'm going to start in with the 19, the 22, the 52, 56, and 67. The next line down is the 3, the 20, the 48, the 54, and 59. The last line is the 5, the 12, 50, 61, and 69. So again, I'm going to make these red. And now I'm going to count how many I have. So I got 5 here, 3 is 8, 2 is 10, and 5 is 15. So up here, I'm going to make this 15. So up here, it tells me of how many of each color I have on a game card. Okay, so moving on to the orange, I'm going to start with the 14, the 27, 29, 59 is already taken, so the 65. The next line down is the 1. The 5 is already taken, so the 25. 63 and 67. So the 67 is already taken, so the next line is the 12, and that's taken. The 29 is taken, so the 34. 53. 65 is taken. So the next line down is the 5, that's taken, so the 18. 33. 43 and 65 is taken, so I'm going to make these orange. And now I'm going to count how many I have. So over here I got 2, and 4 is 6, 3 is 9, 1 is 10, and 2 is 12. So I'm going to leave this alone at 12 right here. Okay. So I think you understand how I came up with the colors for my game card. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to scroll to the right just to speed things up. And here's the game card for November 2nd, 2019. Again, there was 15 red numbers, 12 orange. Turned out to be 16 green, 11 blue, and 15 purple numbers. Okay? So again, more than half the time, a 3-color combination comes up. Okay? So that means more than half the time, 2 colors are not coming up, and that's what I want to focus on here. Okay? So again, the object of the game is to eliminate groups of numbers. So the strategy here is try to correctly guess what color group will not be coming up and eliminate that group of numbers off of the game card. Okay? So I just want to point out that all 5 colors do come up. It's come up 13 times out of 384 drawings. Okay? So it comes up, but it's very rare. Okay? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a prediction on what color group won't be coming up, and I'm going to turn to my next strategy to help me make a decision. Okay, so my next strategy is the 50-50 picks. Okay, so again, what you're looking at here is what I call the 50-50 picks. So there's 5 white winning Powerball numbers. Okay, so there has to be a majority of either odd numbers or even numbers, or numbers to the high side or numbers to the low side. So I like to keep track of that and try to correctly guess what the majority will be for the upcoming drawing. Okay, so I kind of use these 50-50 picks as kind of like a roadmap to what I think will be the 5 white winning Powerball numbers. Okay, so what I'm going to do is, the first thing I'm going to do is make this 427. I'm sorry here, I'm going to make this 425. Okay, I don't know what happened there, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back to the game card, and I'm going to find out what came up. So I got odd number, even, odd. Okay, so I got 3 even numbers and 2 odds. So here I'm going to write down 2, and over here 3. Okay, so now I'm going to make this 201. Okay. So out of 425 drawings, 224 drawings have come up the majority of odd numbers. 201 drawings have been the majority of even numbers. Okay? So what I like to do is I like to break things down into 5 so it shows me that majority. Okay? So here with this 5 drawings, you can see that the majority was odd numbers, 3 drawings to 2. Okay, so since odd is red, I'm going to make this red as well and highlight it. Okay, so why I do this is, again, I want to see what the majority has been for the last, foreseeable drawings here. So the last 15 drawings, you can see that the majority has been odd numbers. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to predict that more even numbers are going to come up in this drawing. Okay, so I expect the majority to be over on this side. All right. So I'm just going to write that down to remind myself what I picked. So again, I think there's going to be more even numbers than odd numbers. Okay, so moving on to the next one, I got high and low here. And what I'm going to do is, looking at this, you can see that the last 15 drawings again have been the majority of low numbers. And the low is in this blue. Okay, so I'm going to predict there's going to be more high numbers. So I'm expecting at least 3 numbers in this red area. So I'm going to write that down as well. Again, just to remind myself what I picked. So moving on, I got left and right. Okay, and here what I'm going to do is going back into the history of things. This right side has been really hot way down here, so I'm going to predict that this left is going to start to heat up. So I'm going to predict that more numbers to the left side are going to come up. So I want at least 3 numbers over here to the left side. Okay. So I'm going to write that down as well. More numbers to the left side than the right. And the last one I got is this red and blue area. Okay, and what I'm going to do is, you can see that the red is really far ahead, 231 drawings to 193. Okay, So what I'm going to do is I'm going to predict that more numbers to the blue area are going to come up. Okay, so I'm going to write that down as well. More numbers to the blue. Okay, so just looking at this real quick, again, I want more numbers to this left side, more numbers to the high area, okay, and more numbers in this blue, okay? So automatically, I think at least a couple of numbers are going to be in this square right here, okay? So moving on, what I'm going to do is, again, predict what color group won't be coming up, okay? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to say that no red numbers are going to come up, okay? So the reason why, and the thing about my game is that we're all going to look at this a little bit differently, okay? So I'm going to go with no red numbers, okay? So again, I think more numbers are going to be in this area right here. So you can see that the majority of red numbers are in this area here, okay? So another reason why I'm doing this is because a red number has come up in the last 10 drawings. And I just think that it's kind of due to miss here, okay? Like right here. You can see there's no red numbers here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to block out these red numbers because I don't think they're going to come up. So I want to eliminate these off of my game card. Okay, so again, you may look at this and say, no, I think it's going to be blue because there's only 11 blue numbers here, okay? But for me, I'm going with red, okay? So here's the thing. What I'm doing here is I'm spending $3 on a Powerball ticket, which includes the power play, okay? So in other words, I'm betting $3 that none of these red numbers will come up in the next drawing, okay? So if I'm correct with my bet and none of these red numbers come up, then I'm one step closer to that $2 million prize. Okay, so I'm off to the next strategy. And that's strategy number 3, the individual numbers. Okay, so what you're looking at here is what I call the individual numbers. Okay, so basically what I did is I took all 69 numbers and divided it into 7 different groups. Okay, so here's group number 1. It holds the numbers of 1 through 9. Okay, of course, this is the only group with 9 numbers where the other 6 groups have 10. Okay, so what I'm going to do is here's the winning numbers that just came up. So I'm going to follow this plane for the 19. So here's the 19 right here, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to make this square green. And I'm making it green because the 19 is green, okay? And the 19 is green because the color code said it was green, okay? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to reduce this down so you can see the whole card. Okay, so here, again, I like to break things down into 5, mostly so it shows me that majority, but this is a little bit different, okay? So the reason why I like to do 5 here is because when I go back into the history of things, it's easier to count going 5, 10, 15, 20, and so on, okay? But my theory is that if there's a lot of hits within these 5 drawings here, then maybe there won't be so many hits in the next 5 drawings, okay? So that's what I look for, and my prediction for this is, again, you can see that there's 7 groups here, and there's only 5 white winning Powerball numbers, okay? So I know that 2 of these groups cannot have a winning Powerball number to it. So the strategy is, try to correctly guess what group will not have the winning Powerball number to it, and eliminate that group of numbers off of the game card, okay? So for me, I'm going to go with no numbers of 10 through 19 here, okay? So as I go back through, you can see that things have been pretty steady here, okay? With this 10 to 19, and I just, it's all a gut feeling, really. And my gut feeling is that no numbers of 10 through 19 are going to come up, so I'm going to eliminate those numbers off of my game card, okay? So I'm going to blow this back up. I'm going to go to my game card, and I'm going to eliminate 10 through 19. Okay, so there's a 10, 11, 13 to 16, 17, 18, and the 19 is already gone. So I'll eliminate those numbers, and hopefully those numbers do not come up. Okay, so moving on to my next strategy. Strategy number 4 picking the numbers I hope will miss from group 1. Okay, so what you're looking at here is what I call my group 1 numbers, okay? So basically what I did is I divided all the 69 numbers into 4 different color groups, okay? So when the 5 white winning Powerball numbers come up, I record where they land down here in the stats, okay? So again, the numbers were 19, which is right here. 22 is in the blue, so I got 19 in the red, 22 in the blue, 52 in the orange, 56 in the green, and the 67 is here in the red, okay? So I got 2 red numbers, 1 blue, 1 orange, 1 green, okay? So when that happens, I call that a row, where all 4 colors got hit, okay? So if it's a hit, I color the background red for hot. Okay, and if it's a miss like this one right here in the last drawing for the blue, I color the background blue for cold, okay? So in the last drawing, if I could have correctly guessed that none of these blue numbers were going to come up, I could have eliminated all these numbers and gave myself a much better chance at winning some kind of prize in the Powerball lottery, okay? So the strategy is try to correctly guess where these zeros are going to pop up, okay? So I have 15 of these option cards, and they all have the same colors as red, blue, orange, and green, okay? So I have a group 1 overview, which is right here, all right? So again, I have all the same colors, red, blue, orange, and green. It's just that the numbers that they represent are a little bit different from each other from each different option card, okay? So again, I have 15 of these option cards in my group 1 overview here. You can see that in the red, I only keep track of the zeros that pop up, okay? So in the last drawing, there was 5 zeros in the red area, okay? So I'll point those out real quick. So here's 1, okay? 2, 3, 4, and the other one's down here somewhere. Right here, option card 10. Okay, so there's the 5th zero right there. Okay, so how this works is if there's 5 or more zeros, I color the background blue. And if there's 4 or less zeros, I color the background red. Okay, red for hot, blue for cold. Okay, so the reason why I chose 5 is because that's a third of the option cards. So if I could correctly guess where a blue mark is going to pop up, okay, then that means that at least 5 out of these 15 option cards are going to have a 0 in that certain color group, okay? So for me, I'm thinking that this orange is going to have a blue mark to it, okay? So you can see that there's a couple single blue marks here, okay? And I'm hoping that it's going to double up like right here, okay? So I'm going to concentrate on actually the orange and the green. So again, I have 15 option cards, and what I'm going to do is I don't want to pick at too many of these, okay? Just because there's so many variables to it with the rows, okay? So my selection is going to be number 11 green. So here's 11, okay? Now again, we're all going to look at this differently, but the reason why I'm picking this is because you can see that there's a single red mark here, okay? Now, if a 0 comes up here, then I'm going to be putting a 1 right here, okay? So I had to run a 1, okay? This one had to run a 21 hits in a row, okay? So a 1 comes up a lot, like right here, okay? So in this column here in the green, a 1 hasn't shown up in a long time. It's been right here, okay? So I'm predicting that it's due to happen, all right? So I'm predicting that the blue mark is going to be right here, and I'm going to eliminate all these green numbers off of my game card. So you can see what this pattern looks like, okay? So I'm going to go back to my game card, and I'm going to eliminate all those numbers off of my game card. Okay, so I'm also going to eliminate the 8, and I'll tell you why. Okay, so I got rid of all those numbers. So over here to the left, you can see that I have 5 numbers over here, okay? And as I go back to this group 1, you can see that there's no numbers over here to the left, okay? So the reason why is because I really wanted this grid of 8 squares across and 8 squares down, but that's only good for 64 numbers, and there's 69 numbers in the lottery, okay? So I had to pair a couple of these squares up. Like the 8 shares the square with the 66, the 19 with the 67, the 25 and the 65, the 53 and the 69, and the 58 and the 68, okay? So if I get rid of all these green numbers like I'm doing, I'm going to get rid of the 8 and the 66 along with all these other numbers as a group, okay? So that's my way of grouping up numbers, all right? So the next one I'm going to pick at is number 13, orange. Okay, so I don't like to pick more than 2 out of here because, again, all the rows that could come up, okay? But the reason why I'm picking this one is because a single blue mark has come up 24 times, okay? So I'm hoping that it's due to double up like right here, okay? So I'm going to eliminate all these orange numbers off of my game card, and that's the pattern of 5, 7, 14, 16, all the way down. So I'll get rid of the 7, the 21, the 30, the 37, 39, 46, 55, 62, and 64. Okay, so I'll get rid of all those numbers, and hopefully they don't come up, so I just want to double check. Okay, so again, here's option card 14, and here's option card 15, okay? So again, those are the options, all right? And what I'm going to do is I'm going to move on to the next strategy, and that's strategy number 5, picking the numbers I hope will miss from group 2. Okay, what you're looking at here is what I call my group 2 numbers, okay? So much like group 1, where I divided things into 4 different color groups, here I divided things into 8 different color groups, okay? So kind of the same thing, except I know that there's only 5 white winning Powerball numbers, and there's 8 different color groups here, okay? So I know that 3 of these color groups cannot have a winning Powerball number to it. So the strategy is try to correctly guess what color group will not have the winning Powerball number to it, and eliminate that group of numbers off of the game card, okay? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to update this, all right? So I have 15 of these option cards as well, and they all have the same colors as red, blue, orange, green, purple, brown, gray, yellow. It's just that the numbers that they represent are a little bit different from each other from each different option card, okay? So again, I'm going to update this, and the numbers that came up were the 19, that's in the orange, okay? The 22 is in the brown. The 52 is in the green, the 56 is in the yellow, and the 67 shares the square with the 19. So I got 2 orange numbers, a green, a brown, and a yellow. Okay, so I'm going to scroll down here to current. All right, so here in the red area, there was no winning Powerball numbers. In the blue, there was no winning Powerball numbers. In the orange, there was 2, the 19 and 67. In the green, there is 1, the 52. There is no winning Powerball numbers in the purple. There is 1 in the brown, the 22. No winning Powerball numbers in the gray, and there was 1 winning Powerball number in the yellow, the 56. So over here, I'm going to count how many color groups got hit. So I got 1, 2, 3, and 4. The majority of the numbers are over here to the left side, so I'm going to keep this for red. Okay, so now I'm going to color the background red over here. And here, again, I like to break things down into 5, so it shows me the majority. So the majority is misses. There's 3 zeros here, so I'm going to color the background blue for cold. And here you can see the majority is hits, so I'm going to color the background red for hot. Okay, so the reason why I do that is because when I see something like this, where it's been really, really hot, well, I know it's going to turn cold eventually. I just have to correctly guess when that's going to happen. Okay, so the strategy is try to correctly guess where the zero is going to pop up. Okay, so for me, I think the zero is going to be right here in the purple area. Okay, so you can see how hot this has been, and now I'm hoping that it's going to start to cool off. So I'm going to eliminate the purple numbers off of my game card. And the purple numbers run from the 5 down to the 61. So when I go back to the game card, I'm going to eliminate that, and I'm going to take away the 45. Okay, so I want to go back to group 1 for just 1 second. Okay, so I wanted to point out this option card number 1 with the row here. Okay, now you can see that there's been a bunch of rows. Okay, and what I'm hoping that this is going to do is double up like this. Okay, so for this drawing here, I'm expecting that there's going to be a winning Powerball number in each one of these 4 color groups. Okay, so that's what I'm going to be looking for when I eliminate numbers. I don't want to eliminate a whole square like this. Okay, so going back to group 2 here, I'm going to move on to option card number 2, and I'm going to go with no red. So again, we're all going to look at this differently, okay? So I'm going to go with no red numbers. You can see how hot this has been here, and I'm hoping that it's going to start to cool off, and I hope the zero is going to be right here, okay? So I'm going to eliminate these red numbers off of my game card, and that runs from the 1 over to the 66. So I'll get rid of all these numbers. And hopefully they do not come up, okay? So moving on to option card number 3. Again, I have 15 of these option cards, so here I'm going to go with brown. And as I scroll down through, you're going to see how this got really, really hot down through here. So I'm hoping that it's going to start to cool off, and I'm hoping the zero is going to be right here, okay? So I'm going to get rid of these brown numbers. And that's the 5 to the 29 and the 34 to the 68. So I'm going to get rid of the 34. Now the 58 shares the square with the 68, so I'm going to get rid of that as a group. Okay, so moving on to option card 4. I'm going to go with gray, so here's the gray, and as I scroll down through, you see that things got pretty hot, so I'm hoping the zero is going to be right here. And I'm going to get rid of these gray numbers. It runs from the 17 to the 20 and the 69 to the 56. And you can see that there's no numbers to get rid of, except for right here. I should have got rid of this 53 when I eliminated these purple numbers, because the 53 shares the square with the 69. So I'll get rid of that. So that means that there's no numbers to get rid of with this gray. Okay, so I just want to point something out, that I keep track of all the stats for all 15 of these option cards, okay? And on average per drawing, the average runs from 3.8 to 4.2, okay? And what I mean by that, and what I'm trying to say, is that on average, 4 of these color groups are going to have a hit to it, and 4 of these color groups are going to have a miss to it. So it's kind of like a 50-50 guess right now, okay? So here's the thing. I chose gray. There's no numbers to eliminate, okay? So let's just say, for argument's sake, that I got this correct, okay? And there was nothing to get rid of, so as I come back here, I really don't want to pick another one from this option card, especially if I get this gray correct, okay? Because if I pick another one, the odds go way, way up that I'm probably going to get it wrong, okay? So I designed this to move on to the next option card where I had that 50-50 guess again, okay? So here with option card 5, I'm going to go with no brown. I'm hoping that the zero is going to be right here. So I'm going to get rid of these brown numbers. Okay, so I've seen this pattern before with group 1, so I know that there's no numbers to get rid of. Okay, so I'm going to move on to option card number 6. And I'm going to go with no orange. Okay, so here's the orange, and as I scroll down through, You're going to see that things got pretty hot down through here, so I'm hoping that it's going to cool off with a 0 right here, okay? So I'm going to get rid of these orange, 5, 14, 21, 30, all the way down. And there's nothing to get rid of, okay? So moving on. Option card number 7. I'm going to go with no brown again. So here's the brown, and as I scroll down through, you're going to see that things got pretty hot through here, so I'm hoping that 0 is going to be right here. And I'm going to get rid of these brown numbers, and that's the 1, 10, 3, 12, all the way across. And there's nothing to get rid of. So moving on to the next one. Option card number 8, I'm going to get rid of the red numbers. So as I scroll down through, you're going to see that things got pretty hot down through here. So I'm hoping that 0 is going to be right here. And I'm going to get rid of these red numbers. And that's the 5, 16, 21, 31, all the way down. So I'll get rid of the 31 and the 63. So again, with that group 1, option card number 1, I wanted at least a number in each square. So I'm definitely not going to get rid of this 24, okay? I want to keep that, so I'm thinking that the 24 is going to come up. We'll see what happens, okay? So here, number 9, I'm going to go with blue. So here's the blue. As I scroll down, you're going to see that things got really hot down through here. And I'm hoping the 0 is going to be right here. So I'm going to get rid of these blue numbers, and that's the pattern of 227 on the left side, 1621 on the right side. So I'll get rid of the 27. Hopefully that number does not come up. So moving on to 10. Again, I have 15 of these option cards, so I'm almost done. So here with 10, I'm going to go with gray. You can see how hot this has been. So I'm hoping that there's going to be a long streak of blue, and I'm hoping the 0 is going to be right here. And it's the pattern of 17, 28 in all 4 squares. So I'll get rid of the 28 and the 49. Hopefully those numbers do not come up. Moving on to 11, I'm going to go with red. So here's the red. And as I scroll down through, you're going to see that things got really hot through here, okay? So I'm hoping the 0 is going to be right here. And I'm going to get rid of these red numbers. And that's the 16, 14, 17, 65, 35, 43, 56, 64. So I'll get rid of the 25, 65 because they shared a square. And I'll get rid of the 35. So I'll get rid of those numbers, and hopefully that will not come up. Okay, so moving on to the next one. I'm going to go with 12, option card 12, and I'm going to go with no yellow. So here's the yellow. And as I scroll down through, you're going to see that things got, they're not exactly hot, but the reason why I picked this is because it's been 6 drawings in a row. And I'm hoping that the 0 is going to be right here, okay? So I'm going to get rid of these yellow numbers. And that's the 3 to the 27 and the 39 to the 63. And there's nothing to get rid of. So moving on. The option card 13. I'm going to go with red. So here's the red. And as I scroll down through, this one you can see that it's been 8 drawings in a row, so I'm hoping the 0 is going to be right here. And I'm going to get rid of these red numbers, and that's the 65 to the 28 and the 61 to the 64. And there's no numbers to get rid of, okay? So moving on to 14. I'm going to get rid of red again. So you can see what this red looks like. So let me scroll down. So again, I think the 0 is going to be right here, okay? Gut feeling, all right? So I'm going to get rid of these red numbers so you can see the 2 squares here. So I'm going to get rid of the 47, and hopefully that number does not come up. So my last option card is 15, and I'm going to go with red again. So here's the red. You can see how hot things have been here, so I'm hoping that they're going to cool down, and I hope the 0 is going to be right here, and I'm going to get rid of these red numbers. So these two patterns right here, so I'm going to get rid of the 38 and the 9. And that will bring me down to 5 numbers. Okay, so the numbers that I'm going to go with are the 24, the 26, the 40, 41, and 44. So let me highlight those. So the numbers I'm going to go with are the 24, 26, 40, 41, and 44. Okay. So again, with that group 1, I wanted a number in each one of these 4 squares. Okay. Now, I thought there was going to be more even numbers than odds, and you can see 24, 26, 40, 44 will make that happen. More to the high area, the 40, 41, 44 will make that happen. More to the left, the 26, 41, 44 will make that happen, and more to that blue area of the 50-50 picks. So the 24, 41, 44 will make that happen. Okay? So that's how I use my game here. Again, we're all going to look at this differently. So we're all going to come up with a different result. Okay? But I think Sherlock Holmes said it the best when he said it's a matter of deduction. So if these blocked out numbers don't come up, then these highlighted numbers have to come up. Okay? So what are the odds that I made all the correct picks? Okay? So let me go over the official odds. So to get the grand prize, all 5 white ball numbers and a red ball, the grand prize is 1 in 292 million that you'll get it correct. Okay? My goal is to get all 5 white balls correct. And what I mean by that is the game is geared up to pick the white balls. I love to win the grand prize. Okay? The odds of this are 1 in 11,688,000. Okay? So in other words, there's nearly 12 million 5-number combinations that you can make out of 69 numbers, okay? So I don't want to give any kind of illusions that this is going to be easy to win, okay? It's just a fun game to strategize, to pick your numbers, and really get you involved with the Powerball lottery, okay? So another great prize to win would be 4 white ball numbers and a red ball that pays $50,000 plus the power play. The odds of that are just about 1 in a million, okay? And here's the smaller prizes, all right? So you can see that the higher tier prizes, the odds are just astronomical, okay? So I just want to give you some perspective of how much you're spending, all right? So if you spend $3 per drawing, there's 2 drawings per week, you would spend $312 per year on the lottery, okay? So moving on, I do have something for the Powerball number itself, the red number, all right? Now there's 26 red numbers in the Powerball lottery. So in this column over here, I just divided the numbers in 2. So if you see a blue number, that means it's low, 1 to 13. If you see a red number, that's high, 14 to 26. Over here in this column, if you see a red number, that's odds. If you see a blue number, that's evens, okay? So the reason why I do this is because when I see a streak of blue like this, well, I know it's going to turn red eventually. I just have to correctly guess when that's going to happen, okay? So for here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to predict that this is going to be a red number here. So I think it's going to be a high number of 14 to 26. And over here, I think it's going to be red as well. So I think it's going to be an odd number. So I'm just going to concentrate on the high odd numbers, okay? Like the 15, 17, 19, 21, 23, and 25. So I'll just concentrate on those. I'm not sure what I'm going to pick, but I know that the 21 repeats a lot. Okay, so this green area tells me that the Powerball repeated. You can see that the 3 came up and then it repeated. Okay, now for the 21, it just has seen it come up in the past. It repeated a lot, like right here. Okay, so that's happened a couple times, and who knows, it just may happen again. Okay, so I may pick that. Okay, so in closing, I want to thank you for watching. If you would like to support my channel, then please go to my Patreon page at www.patreon.com/Decoding the Powerball. And as always, I want to wish you the best of luck with your picks.